What's up, guys? I'm BTC. We just got a brand new patch on the PTR. This is going to have some pretty big buffs, nerfs, and a brand new feature we've been waiting for quite a while. Now, I want to clarify, this is the PC-only PTR, not the live version of the game, the experimental mode that was just added. So PC, PTR only. So the first thing is that new feature that we got. Finally, we have the ability to save and share replays. Now, you can't fully save them. Like, you still need to have a third-party program that will record the game for you, but you can at least pin them so that you can save them for later, so you don't have to worry about them going away. So let me show you here. You just click on a match, and then you can click pin, and it will lock it in place, and then you can keep up to 10 of them, and you can unpin it if you want. You can also click on the share button, and it will generate a code that is similar to the workshop, and then you tell that code to somebody else. They click import, they put the code in, and then they can get it. And they can store up to 10 of those imported codes, so it's not like they have to keep putting in the code every single time they want to watch it, right? It should just pop up here, and then they can, pin it if they want. Also, you can add notes to these, so you can put in some descriptions like, this is a cool play the game moment from blah, 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 or, this is rank, gold at, whatever tank play or something like that, and you can have it as like a description for what you're trying. Like if you're trying to get coaching or something like that, there's a bunch of things. So you can just tell people what to look for that cool moment, whatever it is. So that's pretty awesome. Now, it should be noted that these will all reset every single patch. For whatever reason, just the way that it works, all of the replays, all the play of the games get wiped out with every new patch. I'm not exactly sure why. It's just been the way it is for forever. And again, if you want to fully save them, then you need to actually use a third-party program to record it. But like if you are trying to get coaching or something from somebody, then they can just import the code and, record it themselves. Or you can record it yourself and upload it to YouTube or something like that. So this is a really awesome feature. The only thing it's missing is that extra save function, but other than that, it looks like it's great. I think this has so much potential. It's really cool, and I'm glad they finally added it. Moving on to the hero balance changes, we got some buffs and nerfs. First up is Deva, who got a nerf. This is going to be to the boosters. It is now moved up from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Deva still has a huge amount of mobility. I forget what it was before. Maybe it was it 5 seconds or 6 seconds on the boosters? So this is still better than what it was before. Winston's leap is still at 6 seconds. So Deva still has a huge amount of mobility. Defense matrix is still really good because of all the barrier nerfs and stuff. So you still have a really good defensive ability. But this is going to limit her kind of escape a little bit more, because what would happen before is with the 3 seconds you could kind of dive in, you could use your micro missiles, you could attack, you could then use your defense matrix, and then you could always get out. Like, you always had enough defense matrix in order to get out. And with this change, it's going to make it a little bit more risky. You have a little less mobility. I mean, it's still really good, but it's not quite as good as it was before. Next up is Mei. She got a couple of nerfs to the ice wall. So the first thing I want to point out is that the cooldown on the ice wall begins the instant you activate it. However, it doesn't show the cooldown until after the wall is gone. So what they did was they nerfed it from 10 seconds up to 13 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create it, and then I'm going to instantly break it. And you can see that it goes to 12, 11, 10, and all that down forward. I think if it lasts for the entire duration, I believe it is going to be 8 seconds on that cooldown. So we can try that again. And I'm just going to leave it up there, and we're going to let it run. So right now, the cooldown is running in the background. And then, there you go, 8 seconds. So you have to be a little bit more careful with it now. It's not, 3 seconds is a pretty good amount of time, right? Like, that's nothing to kind of scoff at. That's a good amount of time. You have to be more careful with the ice wall now. You can't just kind of like throw it wherever you want. Like, you need to plan it out a little bit better. And if you waste it, then it's going to be a little bit more punishing. Now, another thing that they did with the ice wall, and this I can't really show you in the training mode because there's no way the bots are going to do enough damage. but the player collision now allows large heroes to fit through one pillar gaps. So you have the one pillar right here. What would normally happen is when the wall goes up, everybody attacks the middle, and then like the smaller characters can go through, but you have Reinhardt and Deva and Roadhog and some of the others, and they would get stuck, and they couldn't actually go through the one pillar gap because they were just too big. But it's been changed, the collision has been changed, so now any character can go through that one pillar gap. So now if your team is focusing and trying to destroy that one pillar, you're going to be able to just quickly funnel through. You don't have to worry about your Reinhardt or your Deva getting stuck behind it. They can now follow through. So that's a pretty big change. I mean, it's kind of like a quality of life or a buff to everything else, but it's also definitely a nerf to Mei because it makes it a little less useful. Next up is Sigma. When I first saw this, I thought it was going to be a nerf, but it's actually a buff. So I just like misread it. The Gravitic Flux, the ultimate cost was reduced by 10%. So very simply, because they nerfed a lot of his damage, right? They nerfed the accretion, they nerfed his normal damage, they've nerfed everything on this character so much that they have now reduced the ultimate cost in order to try to compensate a little bit for this. Sigma is not in a good spot right now. Sigma is, in the upper bracket, the least played character in the game. Yes, even lower than Bastion. Bastion's number 2. Sigma is the lowest picked character in the entire game. So this is going to make it so that Sigma gets his ultimate just a little bit faster. Also, keep in mind that they recently nerfed the ultimate so it's easier to interrupt. They just keep nerfing this character. I think the problem is that he just has too much stuff. You ever hear the phrase, a jack of all trades is a master of none? That's kind of what Sigma is. Like, he has so much stuff that nothing can be good. Everything needs to be nerfed down into mediocrity. Everything needs to be nerfed really low in order to kind of balance it out. And what you end up with is you don't have a character that's good at any particular thing. You have a character that's just kind of meh at almost everything, right? So I don't know. I think they're going to need to do something different because Sigma just keeps getting worse and worse. This ultimate cost change, I don't think is going to do anything. I don't think this is going to affect anything. I think he's still going to be a pretty terrible pick for the most part. Unless something else happens, he's still going to be a terrible pick. Now, another change, and this is huge. This is a huge, huge change, is Soldier 76. The Helix rockets, the cooldown was reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. That is 120 area damage. Well, I mean, it's not exactly area damage. There's a difference, you know, there's direct damage and area effect. But anyways, it's potentially 120 extra damage every 6 seconds. That is a huge amount of DPS increase for this character. Particularly if you're trying to break enemy barriers or something, or large characters that you're not really going to miss with, right? Like, if you're trying to hit a Genji with the Helix, then it's, you know, a little bit different. But if you're aiming at someone like, you know, a Reinhardt or a Zarya or, you know, Orisa or any of the other, you know, somewhat larger characters, that's an extra, almost guaranteed 120 damage, you know, an extra 2 seconds faster. That is huge damage increase. Now, I don't know if this is going to fix all of the things with him, but again, this is nothing to just, you know, kind of look over, right? This is a huge potential increase in his damage. We'll have to see. Again, with all of the weaknesses of the barriers and stuff like that, characters that are hit scan have gotten a little bit better. Widow got nerfed. Hanzo's gotten nerfed. They're not quite as good. I don't know if this is going to make people want to use Soldier instead of Widow or instead of Hanzo in a lot of situations, or even McCree, right? Because, you know, that stun is just really good. But, I mean, this definitely is good. And I can see that there being some situations where it's like, you know what, let's just run Soldier, and you can just spam out the Helix, and you're just going to do huge, huge amounts of damage all the time. And, you know, this is just, I don't know, this is a huge, huge damage increase for the character. I'm actually kind of surprised that they were willing to do this. Again, guys, so we've got the new replay system where you can save it, and you can share them. I might actually start taking videos from you guys in order to use as background footage in some of my videos, and I might also start doing some other stuff. I've got some ideas, not fully kind of confident in exactly what I want to do just yet, but I do have some ideas for you guys to share your replay footage, so I'll let you know when that is ready and when that's going to happen. But also, what do you guys think about these changes here on the PTR with the nerfs to Deva and Mei, and then the buff to Sigma doesn't really matter, but the buff to Soldier 76? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get notified. You can get some cool gear, join my Discord server, or follow me on social media with the links down in the description below. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters, and remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.